So here's one of our wines that are really all about what we do here. One of our single vineyard wines this is the 2010 Honah Lee White. It was such a joy to work that property in 2010. Really, 2010 brought forth what we really think Honah Lee has the potential of doing in great years. Honah Lee, to me, it's a very steep southwest-facing slope. It's a little bit further south, so it's quite a hot site. A lot of hard red clay as well. It tends to express more fruit-forward style wines, but given the heat of the vineyard and particularly the heat of this vintage, we knew we were going to be creating a wine that was about opulence and richness as opposed to the finesse of, say, our Nevaya vineyard stuff or some of our other wines. And this is meant to be that big, bold, expressive, almost flamboyant type of wine. We did our normal traditional aspects of how we make our single vineyard wines in a lot of our wines, where it's indigenous yeast fermentations. There's no enzyme ditch, there's no any of this. It's just all about getting the fruit to naturally make its way through fermentation and a slow aging process, and then get it in bottle and release it when we feel it is ready to be released. We did whole cluster pressing with the Roussanne and Viognier portion that went into this, as to not try to extract too much phenolic. We knew that the wine was going to be powerful on its own. The Petit Manseng did get late crushing prior to being pressed. All of which we tried to do as anaerobically as possible, trying to maintain that exotic aromatic that sits in all of these grapes. So this is 40% each, Viognier and Petit Manseng, 20% Roussanne. It spent 10 months in Gipio Forest Oak, so that's that forest just outside of the Loire Valley in France that we use for our white wines. The reason we use that forest is twofold. One is it's known to have some of the tightest grains out of any of the barrels around France or America or wherever. And we don't want the wine to be overpowered by the oak. We just want that slow integration with our white wines, because they are more about the fruit and, in most cases, the elegance. In this case, it's more opulent, but we just want that slow integration and allow the fruit really to speak for itself. The opposite with our reds, because they're so heavily extracted, they need that extra oxygen exchange, so Gipio doesn't really work for that. But the other reason we use Gipio forest is it's one of the more sustainable forests out there for oak, because they have to maintain an average age of 150 years old within the forest before they can harvest any trees. It's a highly allocated forest. There's not a lot of the oak out there, but we really think that it helps towards our wine, so we're a big fan. So let's take a little swirl and sniff and sip. On the nose, it's exactly what we expect out of Honah Lee. It has, huge aromatics. It has a lot of stone fruit, peach type characteristics. It has that pineapple expression of Petit Manseng. It has almost like this Jonah Gold apple and some crust type notes from the Roussanne. It's a very complex, very powerful style of wine, exotic. It has that floral component. It's something that, I could just sit here and sniff all day long. The aromas are just alluring. I do love this wine. The palate is just full, rich, opulent. A lot of fruit. You get more into almost like cooked like fruit. Almost we get some dried apricot type characteristics, and then that peach definitely comes through again as well. Almost like a banana-like note. It's just so exotic, but it's all around this big ball that I look at as the body. It is a round, soft wine, but it also has that bright acidity from the Petit Manseng, adding balance. The level of fruit, and also, quite frankly, the level of alcohol, because 2010 was such a hot year, the alcohol levels got a little higher. It gives this perception of a sweetness to the wine that is all just about that ripeness of the fruit in which it came in. So every time I look at this wine, it's a lot of fun. It's just downright delicious, shows a great representation of what Honah Lee Vineyard was able to express in 2010, being that hot, dry year. And so I'll just here in the glass with a very minimalist outlook on winemaking. So, cheers.